In the prior lesson for the New Outlook series, we looked at how to navigate the Outlook calendar. Now it's time to look at the settings that can impact that calendar. We're going to start on the View tab. Under Calendar Appearance, you can decide which day will be the first one that shows on the week. So for example, in school, their calendar starts on Monday. So I can update this setting so that my Outlook calendar matches my school calendar. The timescale option has the same impact as changing the timescale from the View ribbon as demonstrated in the calendar lesson. Adding a check mark next to Show Week Numbers will add a week number in parentheses behind the dates in the Day, Week, Work Week, and Weeks view. You will also see the number in the column to the left of the mini calendar. Selecting Dynamic Column Width will adjust the size of the column to make the current date larger to help you focus on today. It also makes columns wider when there are multiple events in the same time slot. The difference can be subtle, so the best way I could think of to illustrate this is to put boxes above each date that are the exact same size. The day with 2 meetings in the same slot is 9 boxes wide. The one next to it is 6 boxes wide. Under time zones, you have a couple options to customize your calendar. The first is to tell Outlook if it should update when you travel. If you want to keep this in your home time zone, deselect the box. The other thing you can do is add multiple time zones to your calendar. This is useful when you have coworkers or customers in different time zones. So for example, I regularly work with somebody who is in Salt Lake City, so I can add that time zone to my calendar. And then when I am looking at creating appointments that impact that person, I can see side by side their time and my time. The last option under the View settings is to add a global calendar. Where I'm at in the United States, the default is English Gregorian. But let's say you work with somebody who follows the Korean lunar calendar. Click the drop down to change the language, and then from there, lunar will automatically be selected. Once I save that and go to the calendar, you'll see the Korean date right next to the English date. A friend of mine who speaks Korean tells me that that is the symbol for moon. So we have the Korean lunar date of the 22nd right next to the English date of the 11th. Under the Events and Invitations tab, you will find the setting to decide if all of your meetings should automatically have an online component and create a Teams meeting. Now, depending on your company, your IT admin may allow other online providers beyond Teams, but in most cases, you'll only see Teams. Then you can set the default reminder. Now, in the calendar lesson, the reminder was set on a meeting by meeting basis. This will set the reminder for every meeting that you create. So, for example, I prefer to be notified 15 minutes before each meeting. Next is the option to shorten the duration for all events. This lets you decide to end an event early or start an event late by a specified number of minutes. You can choose a different number of minutes for meetings that are shorter than an hour and meetings that are 1 hour or longer. Invitations from other people controls how invitations, response, and notifications are handled. By default, Outlook will delete invitations that have been updated by the organizer and delete invitations from the inbox after responding. If you select Automatically Decline Invitations that conflict with existing events, Outlook is going to try to adjust your settings for you so that you don't lose track of anything. One of the things that it will do is show your declined events on the calendar, but keep the time slot as free so that you can easily see that a meeting was auto-declined, and then you can decide to change the status if necessary. The weather settings are fairly simple. Use the toggle button to show the weather on your calendar and decide if the temperature should display in Fahrenheit or Celsius. Then you can add up to 5 locations to track the weather. The important thing to know is that as you add more locations, they will go to the top of the list. Whichever one is at the very top is what shows on your calendar first. If you click on the little weather icon, a pop-out box will appear so that we can see that this is mostly sunny for Salt Lake City. If I use the arrows, I can see the weather for the additional cities that were added. The Events from Email settings lets you decide if you want to automatically add a calendar event for package deliveries, flight reservations, hotel reservations, or rental car reservations. By default, they will be marked as private events. Click the drop-down next to any of the events and choose one of the following. Don't show event summaries in email or on my calendar. Only show event summaries in email, or show event summaries in email and on the calendar. The option that gets updated frequently is for package deliveries to add a summary to the calendar. If you travel frequently for work or for leisure, it's useful to also update flight reservation, hotel, and rental car. The next tab is Shared Calendars, and the first option is Share a Calendar. This is the same settings that you will find from the Home ribbon, where you can decide who can see your calendar and to what level of detail. Calendar Updates provides the option to receive email when someone creates or updates an event on a shared calendar. Simply put a check mark next to one of the available options. Publish a Calendar creates a sharing link so that other people can view the calendar online or subscribe to the calendar. Customize Actions will let you decide if an add-in should be on the toolbar when creating a meeting. All you have to do is put a check mark next to the ones that are available. In this fake Outlook account, I only have 3. The one that I think is most useful is My Templates, because I can set up standard meeting agendas and add them in one click. Go back to the Settings dialog box and click Bookings with Me. This section is basically telling you that you can create a personal bookings page and then link it to your Outlook signature. Now, this is a little misleading because the link here goes to the wrong place. It will take you to your mail settings when you really need to go to your account and then signature settings. Below the details box, put a check mark in, include a link to my bookings page in my signature, then save. You can also go to your personal bookings page to update the setting. Next, click the Accounts tab. If your company allows it, this is where you can connect personal accounts with your work account to manage everything in one place. Work hours and location is the last tab under Calendar Settings. Here you can choose the days that are included in your work week, update the hours that you work, and indicate whether you will be working remotely or in the office. That's our lesson related to the settings for the Outlook calendar. To review additional settings, go to the second video in the series where I talk about new Outlook settings in general.